my job as my husband's wife is to take care of our family while he's gone. And I do that knowing that I may not get the acknowledgement from him that I want and need as a woman and as his wife. That may be something that's a little difficult to wrap your head around if you're unfamiliar with what it is that we have to do on a daily basis. I feel like, obviously we're in this marriage as a partnership, but I do take on the responsibility of making sure that he's confident in our family as a whole so that he can do what he needs to do without worrying about us.
You take all these issues that we struggle with that most everyone can relate to, but it complicates it when you add a deployment where your husband leaves for a long period of time. I'll never forget the first time he was deployed. It was his second deployment, but it was the first time that he had orders that stated he would be deployed for 12 months. And I just didn't know that that was, like, I thought that was against the law. Like, how can that be legal for the, it was President Bush at the time. Like, how can President Bush, like, be able to do that, you know? Anyway, it's something that you just accept and move on, but it changes your life. I mean, it can't not affect your life. So, you know, it's not just the soldier that goes to war, the family goes to war. And so my kids have to go a year without having their dad at home, you know. And when you have teenagers, that's when you need dad at home, you know. And so that's been a struggle for me, but, you know, through this journey that I'm talking about and this therapist that I've been able to work with, I've learned that, you know, dad, the disciplinarian, isn't around. And so it's okay for my kids not to like me, you know. It's okay. That's what part of being a parent is all about. And I know that sounds really dumb, like common sense, that that's the way you should be, but when you've got your dad gone, your children's dad is gone for a year, you tend to want to compensate by giving your kids things and loving them and giving them their way, and that's my nature. And I had to learn that that's not okay. And they can hate me for a time, but in the long run they're going to appreciate it. They're going to be grateful that I did that.
I think something that is unique about Army wife life is that it is so much not about us as it is about the mission as a whole and what your husband has to do. And I think that's something that I've at least come to realize through taping of the season is that it's not always about how I'm feeling as is what is best for the group as a whole. Sometimes my husband can't call me, he can't Skype me, he's too busy to call me. Maybe he could call me, but he's too busy to call me. It's not like what civilians have where if you're angry at your husband and you want to call them and tell them you're angry, you can't do that. You have to wait it out until they can call you or they have a time to call you. And I think that's something that's frustrating and at the same time. Whereas, you know, a civilian's husband may go on a business trip for 2 or 3 weeks and they're in a hotel. They're going to come back in those 2 or 3 weeks. And if you want to, if you really want to, you can fly and go see them. And that is not our life at all. We cannot get on a plane and go see our husbands. We cannot pick up a phone and dial our husbands. We just have to sit back and wait. And that is something that I think a lot of people take for granted. And I think seeing this show will maybe make them appreciate that a little bit more.
My husband is a brigade commander, and so that means that he is ultimately responsible for 3,500 soldiers and 1,500 civilians. So he has a lot on his shoulders, a lot. And so as his wife, it is my duty, first of all, I pray daily for the brigade and for the soldiers, the civilians, the spouses, and for the leaders of the brigade, and ultimately he is accountable for those soldiers and civilians, and ultimately I am accountable for his well-being. He calls me his peace blanket, and so whenever we talk, that sort of thing, I'm sort of listening, you know, how's his voice, how's he doing. I am the one who tells him to go to bed, you need rest, you need to go to the doctor, that sort of thing. And so with so much responsibility on his shoulders, I undergird him and I support him. He is making decisions that changes lives. He makes decisions where we could lose soldiers, you know, whether they should go out or whether they should not go out. Ultimately, that falls on him. He's responsible. And so, as the brigade commander's wife, I take that very seriously, to just make sure that my husband is able to operate at maximum capacity. As he serves the nation, that is the way that I serve the nation. And as the brigade commander's wife, sometimes I get phone calls, 2, 3, 4, 5. It could happen at any time. For example, I actually received a call saying that we had a fallen soldiers like 10 minutes before I had to be at an event called G.I. Jane Day. And so as the brigade commander's wife, I carry that. I cannot talk to anyone about it other than those who need to know. And so I carry that responsibility. And what I face on a daily basis is, no matter what is going on, I try my best to put on a smile. I try my best to go out and smile and show strength, to show the ladies that, you know what, it's going to be okay. There's always hope, even in the midst of a blackout, even in the midst of, you know what, we're at this town hall meeting and we have to tell all the spouses, you know, we have another fallen soldier. I try my best to smile and be a pillar of strength for them, so that they know, you know, everything is going to be okay in spite of what we're facing in this moment.